Hello, all you beautiful whatnots, and happy Monday. It is March 24th in the United States and Canada, and this is a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WhatChaos. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game in Boston, Massachusetts. Taping this just minutes before you're going to see it anyway. It's right before noon, but this is taped. We always disclose that to you. My name is David Bean. I sit beside Pete Blackburn, and across the room is Sean DePaz. Hello, Pete. How was your weekend?
My weekend was lovely, except I had an allergic reaction, and I had to stay inside all weekend.
I had something with allergies. Yours sounds worse. What was your allergic reaction?
I don't know. I think I started using something like a skin product, and it just made my entire body full of hives and rash. So that was a fun weekend.
You got to listen to Megan Calvé. Do what her mom does.
What did she do?
Just some water. Pats it on her face. That's it.
Well, that's what I was doing. I was doing like a month straight of just water and one morning of moisturizing every other day and cleansing, I should say. And my skin was great. And then Ellen was like, "Hey, why don't you try this new product?" And then everything went to shit. So my skin is awful now. Thanks to Ellen. Thank you, my lovely fiance. Sean, how was your weekend?
Pretty good. I mean, you were a part of a decent.
That's true.
Friday night. Otherwise, I didn't really do a whole lot. Was just hanging out.
That's good. I'm jealous of that.
Got ramen Saturday night.
Friday night's game, bit of a bummer.
I was checking in on it. I was watching all the basketball and I was doing all that. I actually this is disgusting. I watched the entire hockey game, NHL game on Friday.
Before you get into it, DJ, how are you?
Ew, gross.
Oh, I'm very good. I'm okay. I gambled throughout the weekend. It's like an annual friends trip thing that we do, and I'd been really hot, and I just lost so many bets, including on who even played that game. Friday night
Pittsburgh
was the Penguins, and
it wasn't the Blue Jackets, was it?
Penguins and the Blue Jackets,
okay.
Yes. And I believe I hammered the Blue Jackets, and it didn't go down the way I wanted it to go. I remember Malkin scoring. I was watching the whole. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching every second of this game.
Unfortunately, the Blue Jackets have been getting hammered recently.
Blue Jackets are not scoring goals, which is a bummer because the Devils did kind of what we were saying they wouldn't do. I was like, I trust the Devils. They're going to hold it together and everything. The Devils have sucked, and the Blue Jackets could have caught them. It's such a fucking bummer. And instead, the Devils are just going to be fine. We're going to talk about the Devils. We're going to talk about a lot today. Pete, why don't you tell the folks it's on the show?
Would love to do just that. Today on the show, we're going to talk about crime. This is a true crime podcast, and we're going to get into some crimes committed by NHL officials over the weekend. We're watching McDavid watch because Connor McDavid is out of the lineup.
Just adding letters.
It's so close.
Watch McDavid watch?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like at the station. You're just not on the train. Right? Is that what you'd like?
I don't know.
Oh, we're on Watch McDavid Watch because we have the opportunity to watch McDavid in Edmonton later this week. But we're watching that watch because Connor McDavid's currently out of the lineup. He may not be back. Same thing with Leon. So it's a weird time to have tickets to go to Edmonton this week.
He made that shit look easy.
Did.
Pete, I'm proud of you and I love you. Next.
Thank you. Next on the show, we're going to have John Buccigross. We teased him last week. He wasn't able to get to the show on Friday because he was in St. Louis doing his job like a loser. But he's going to come on the show today. And we're going to talk college hockey. We're going to talk some NHL playoffs. And John is a good friend of the show. Excited to have him. And finally, bongos and bears. It was a weird weekend in the NHL. It was a real weird weekend. We've got a lot of ground to cover. And it does include bongos and bears.
I can't tell if, I see all the things that went down around the NHL, whether it's the Celebrini trying to kill Sharky, the baby bear being revealed. at Utah. And I think like now's not the time for this shit because we have important hockey. But then I remember not everyone has important hockey.
That's a good point. But also like we got dog days of the season and we fought through them. A lot of days where we didn't have much to talk about. Give us the weird shit. At least give us the weird shit during the week, please.
Yes.
I hate that all the weird shit happens on the weekend and we come back with like 19,000 things to talk about.
Well, I hate crime, and that was committed last night. Rarely does my phone blow up these days during a Bruins game anymore. I apologize, Pete. But last night it did.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that? What the fuck? Put them in jail. All because Murat Husnudinov bumps Darcy Kuemper. Kuemper bumps him best. I forget who comes in, but just like madness ensues. Jeremy Swayman says, hands off my guy, skates out, leaves his crease, goes to fight Kuemper. Kuemper throws the gloves down. They're ready to go. Kuemper, take your mask off, bud. And the officials come in and break it up. We could have had two very big boys fighting each other, and the ref said no.
Two guys who are not unfamiliar with the smoke. Like Kuemper and Swayman would be an awesome goalie fight. And literally the only two people in the building that did not want it were the two that fucking bent over backwards and jumped into the line of traffic to prevent it.
Wrong. Sean, who else didn't want it?
Who didn't want the goalie fight?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone was on record of saying no one wants that and then corrected themselves. Jim Hiller after the game was like, yeah, I mean, nobody wants to see that. And then he was like, I mean,
everyone
like the
wants
two
to see
coaches
that.
don't want to see it, but everybody else probably wants to see it.
Yes. I don't give a shit about the coaches. I don't give a shit about anybody. I don't give a shit about anybody who has a dissenting opinion from this. Goalie fights are the coolest fucking thing in hockey. Allow it to happen. I understand like wanting to prevent it in a situation where they're not ready to go. These two guys were busting through their pants for a chance to fight each other.
Swayman has tried to fight before.
I
too.
know.
It seems like the NHL quietly is like, we're just not letting goalies fight.
Oh, they definitely are
point.
not.
Yes, it has not happened. Let's do a little trivia. Let's see if anybody knows. Who's the last goalie to fight?
I don't know. It had to be years ago at this point.
Yeah.
It's relevant to this week and it's relevant to me.
Is it Mike Smith?
It's Mike Smith.
Guess.
And I forget who from the Flames.
Oh, was it during Battle of Alberta?
Yes.
Wow, that
could
rocks.
you imagine?
In a Battle of Alberta, Mike
Stu.
Smith fought, and I'm very apologetic to whoever. Like, it wasn't
Was it
Vladar.
Markstrom?
It might have been Markstrom. Was Markstrom 2020? Markstrom there in 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been.
It was Cam Talbot.
it was Cam Talbot. Yeah, in a Cam Talbot bowl.
Okay. All right.
Bit of a Cam Talbot bowl there. Yeah, but
That's Mike Smith Bowl, too.
but our beloved, yes, in a Mike Smith bowl. Our beloved Mike Smith is the last goalie to fight. Shouldn't be like that. That's a record that's meant to be broken.
No, they're definitely actively preventing them. This is the most egregious example where they're like, these guys were like seconds away from blows. I've seen them step in before when the guys are going to center ice. I haven't seen it where a guy throws down his mask and is like actively engaging in the fight and then gets broken up. I can't stand it. It's especially as a Bruins fan, I'm so numb to the Bruins experience that watching that and getting a chance to feel something and then having it taken away from me ruined my entire night.
You know what ruined my night? I don't know why, but this little detail of it really just punched my ass an extra time. They got the minors.
Yeah.
They
For
penalized
leaving the
them for
crease.
leaving the crease.
Grow up.
Fuck you. Grow up. Get over it.
Goalies are players too.
These are adult men.
Fuck you.
Give them the choice. Let them have fun. What the fuck are we doing here?
Let the boys be boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's where it gets weird and just brings on a whole new hockey topic. Post game, I mentioned what Jim Hiller said, and I horribly bastardized it, I am sure, in my paraphrasing. Nikita Zadorov was asked by Fluto Shinzawa after the game if the team appreciated Jeremy Swayman sticking up for his teammate. Here's this exchange.
Do you guys appreciate that Jeremy stuck up for Lucinino?
Is that what it is?
Look like it.
Okay. I don't know. No comment.
A little weird. I say it's a little weird.
Well, it's funny because before that, I was going to say, if you're a good teammate, Nikita Zadorov, you need to grab somebody and distract the refs so your goalies can fight. But apparently, I didn't have too much interest in the goalie.
I don't think he thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
Asking, that's what it was? Oh, okay. We can only speculate.
Let's do that then.
I mean, where's Zadorov, guys? We love Zadorov. Zadorov might not be an us guy, but we love Nikita Zadorov. He's good for business. I see that, and I don't know if Nikita Zadorov's good for business for the Bruins.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
the worst, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I hope that not more than one person thinks that Jeremy Swayman is bad for business.
well, that's what I was going to, the opposing stance on that is, well, maybe based off of that clip, you can draw one of two conclusions. Zadorov's bad for business or Swayman's bad for business. And I think neither one is ideal. And maybe we're reading too much into it. Maybe we're circumcising the mosquito here, but like that's a weird fucking reaction.
That is weird.
Especially from Zadorov, who is like a chaos agent. If there's anybody who would be very down for the goaltender fight at center ice and backing his guy, it would be Zadorov. The fact that he didn't do it in that situation throws up, I think, some alarm bells.
Also, when was the last time you heard Nikita Zadorov be cryptic? That's the most direct person I've ever met in my life. Sean?
Oh, I will say, if you remember when we talked to him before the season, he did say he does not like fighting, and anybody that likes fighting is crazy. So maybe it's just like, I don't want to see guys fight.
But he does it to stick up for his guys. So that was the direct question was like, do you appreciate Swayman sticking up for his guy? And I mean, to try to read into it and to try to decipher Zadorov's reaction, maybe he didn't think that was Jeremy Swayman's intentions there. Maybe he thought it was the Jeremy Swayman show.
I mean, I could see... I could agree with if we were to find out Jeremy Swayman don't give a fuck about Murad Husnudinov. He just wants to fight. I'd be like, I've known that Swayman wants to fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Knowing that he wants to fight and know that he's only known Husnudinov for like 2 weeks.
Jeremy Swayman, there's a lot of things you should know about him. He's a lovely person. He plays guitar. He's just he's the best. He hugs people. He wants to score a goal and he wants to fight.
He likes the spotlight. Maybe Zadorov's just a little threatened by Swayman maybe taking away some of his spotlight.
I was wondering, I think Zadorov really wants to be the next captain of the Bruins. I don't think it's happening, but I think that he really wants to be the next captain of the Bruins.
I'll tell you what, if it happens, the world is upside down, brother.
I mean, that jersey, Sean is going to get that jersey. Sean finally got
that would kind of rock.
I mean,
cool captain, boys.
It would be kind of funny.
Oh,
it
absolutely.
Nikita Zadorov, a captain of any team, would be extremely funny. Just a guy who runs around doing whatever he wants, committing penalties every 5 seconds.
Bruins Winter Classic Zadorov jersey with the C next year will go crazy.
Oh my god,
yes.
Crazy!
And I'm watching the mockumentary Mr. America, in which Tim Heidecker runs for district attorney, and he just has no understanding of what district attorney does, and he's talking to his friends like who have like visa issues and everything, and he was like, oh, well, don't worry. I mean, I'm going to be in charge of all that stuff in a couple of weeks once I win this thing. I love the idea. I think I could see Nikita Zadorov having the same mindset where he's like, finally, I'll be captain and I'll just be able to do whatever I want. None of this bullshit about like that was a dirty hit or taking penalties. Thank God.
Nikita, the solution is in the room and it's me, Zadorov.
Oh, that would be the best. I got to say, Nikita, I'm campaigning for you. If you need campaign managers, Pete and I, we will lose all of our contacts with the Bruins, but we're going to campaign for you to be the next captain of the Boston Bruins.
I think that he needs a PR manager. I think he needs a media manager. There was no reason for him to have that reaction and just send up these smoke signals for no reason.
Sean, that sounds like Pete's campaigning to be Nikita Zadorov's PR manager. I think you would do a great job.
True.
I don't know how much they cost, but a billboard near the Garden. Just Zadorov for captain.
He doesn't
just make it a narrative.
The real reason side of the TD Garden. You know how they have like that advertising space. Yeah.
The real reason he doesn't go by Z anymore.
Ooh, he needs
because he wants to go by C.
He wants to go by C.
Nikita Zadorov.
I mean, there is precedent in Boston for a big Z to be captain of the Boston Bruins.
Although it would really throw a wrinkle in one of our most beloved social clips. because
Well,
I believe Nikita Zadorov is shorter than Brad Marchand. Is taller than Brad
as
Marchand.
I pointed out before, I think that we're kind of cooked there anyways. There's like 10 active players shorter than Brad Marchand.
There you go. Shorter than Brad Marchand.
That's what it is. Nikita Zadorov is the what would it be called? Like the campaign head or whatever? The campaign manager of Murat Husnadinov's captaincy campaign. Now we got it.
All right. We went all the way around. We're back. This is what a true crime podcast is. You just follow every lead.
That's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to suggest that Zadorov was undermining the importance of it because they're like, Swayman doesn't care about this guy. This guy's not. No one cares about this guy. He's not a captain. I'm the captain.
I don't know if he'd pick up. I kind of want to let's get Sweeney on speaker and be like,
who's the next captain, Zadorov or Husnadinov?
Hey, wondering if you'd be, we've narrowed it down. So just tell us, say nothing. Don't respond if it's Zadorov. And say this conversation is over if it's Husnadinov.
Hang up if it's Husnadinov.
Yes. He might be doing that. Anyway, okay. Well, we will follow this throughout the week, I'm sure. A lot of other wild stuff. Oh, by the way, I should note, Bruins, since we asked if they were back, 0-5-1.
The season's over, brother. I'm on big lottery watch. I've been hammering the Tankathon website over the past few days. Just every once in a while, it's like my daily task is to just sim the lottery and see where the Bruins end up. That's the part of the season that we're at.
That's Pete's version of journaling.
Also, it's genuinely wild, and I said this in the group chat last night. I really believe the Bruins are like a bottom 3 team in the league.
Right now they are horrible. They are. One of the DFSs I lost was when they played the Sharks. I mean, they scored 1 goal against Alex Georgiev on Saturday night. They scored 1 goal on Alex Georgiev.
I saw Ty Anderson tweet out a stat that was like over their last 5 games, the Bruins have less than 90 shots on net, like combined. And it's the first time that that's happened in like 20 years.
Not great, Bob. Unrelated, Gavin McKenna has 23 points in his last 5 games for Medicine
Very
Hat.
unrelated.
So I'll say that I know he's not in this draft, but I feel like there could be Gavin McKenna conversations for people wearing hats like yours. Audio listeners, make sure you're subscribed. He's wearing a Bruins hat in the future. Okay. This week, we head to Edmonton. And on Thursday, we saw Connor McDavid get injured against the Jets. He leaves the game. Stuart Skinner then gets injured. He leaves the game. Draisaitl's already out. Knobloch says on Friday that McDavid is out, quote, maybe a week. That's from Friday. Knobloch says Draisaitl out up to a week. That's from Friday. We are attending the game against Calgary, Battle of Alberta. Maybe we can get Talbot and Mike Smith going at it in the stands.
Which is Saturday.
That's Saturday.
Yeah.
So unless Knobloch wants to give... He's already pissed off Sean.
Mm-hmm.
He pissed me off that one time. I think Pete's neutral on Knobloch, right?
Yeah. I can go either way.
But if we don't see those guys on Saturday, William pissed you off.
One of the two. We got to at least see one of the two because based off of the language, up to a week means that we will definitely see Leon Draisaitl.
Okay.
What's the language around McDavid?
Right. Maybe a week.
Maybe a week.
I didn't even consider maybe a week is maybe a month.
Exactly. That's a real week-to-week energy kind of thing.
I don't like that. If you could pick, you're seeing one or the other in person. The best player in the NHL this season or the best player
Draisaitl. I'm going to pick Draisaitl.
In the world.
I need to see Draisaitl.
Draisaitl is my favorite hockey player. That has been well documented.
Yeah.
It's McDavid.
I'm taking every opportunity to see Connor McDavid live possible.
I mean, yes, I get it, but also like I want to see Draisaitl at the height of his powers, which is right now.
I feel like it's way easier to appreciate what Leon does through the TV than it is. It's obviously easy to appreciate what Connor McDavid does, but like seeing it in person is just a different experience.
But I think you're more likely to get a signature moment out of Draisaitl this season than.
But his signature moments aren't as cool as McDavid's.
I agree, but they're more frequent. At least this
fair.
season,
I mean,
like you're going to get there's like a 50% chance you're going to get a Draisaitl goal in the Battle of Alberta if he plays on Saturday.
I watched a lot of sports. I'm not a big tennis or golf guy, but I did watch some tennis this weekend. But I think that I'm qualified to say like based on all the sports right now, and this has not always been the case, a hockey player is the most breathtaking athlete alive. Connor McDavid is the biggest, he will knock you over when you watch him in person.
Yeah, but how does that affect Nathan MacKinnon's Hart candidacy?
That's a good question. And by the way, that is the most common tweet sent to me, and I fucking love it. I have such a weird relationship with the Nathan MacKinnon Hart candidacy because I have mockingly bet on it. I like making fun of it, but also I fucking love watching Nathan MacKinnon. So whenever he does something dope, I'm like,
I get it.
He did that. Guess you got to give him Hart. What Chaos Memes sent something really good. I forget what it was, but anyway, keep making those jokes. It's fantastic. So yeah, the maybe a week thing, it's tough. However, the Oilers are okay without them thanks to a couple of things. They don't play a lot of games over the course of this week. They played Saturday and they beat the Kraken. They finished that game by grabbing a point off the Jets on Thursday. But the reason why the Oilers are fine right now, thanks to a few things. One, Stu Skinner's okay. Thank God. Because as you texted, if Draisaitl, McDavid, and Stu Skinner are out, we're not going.
Yeah.
Shout out Greta. Or maybe we'll go to Greta, but we'll protest going to the game. We'll be like, you owe us a different game. I would still go to Edmonton.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to Edmonton, I'm going to the hockey game.
I love it so much. But we are in the middle of a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins real renaissance in which...
A Ryan-essence.
What's that?
A Ryan-essence.
A Ryan-essence. I would say that the days of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins being the best player in a game were
over.
Deeply over.
Yes.
But being one of the better players on the team, of course, was still in play. Granted, McDavid, Draisaitl have been out, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been unbelievable of late, even dating back to when Draisaitl and McDavid were playing. He was the best player in that game against Utah. He has 3 points in 3 of his last 4 games. Previously, he did not have a 3-point game on the season. He was really fighting it this year, but I don't know, just the guy was a trash first-line left wing, love him, and now he's the best first-line center. So go figure. That's amazing. What's more interesting to us? The Skin-issance is on. Jeff Skinner, 3 goals in his last 2 games.
I think you got to call it the Jeff-issance.
Jeff-issance or Skin-issance, Sean?
Well, there's 2 Skinners.
True, and everything is better when it's Jeff.
When you say Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff is the best name.
Yeah,
it really is.
Okay, so the Skin-issance is on. He's now. I'm sorry, the Jeff-issance is on. He's now. I really did mean to say Jeff-issance. He's now up to 14 goals. There's 12 games remaining. At his current pace, of recent play, he's getting to 20 easy. If he even sniffs 20. This is one of the funniest seasons for a household name player in NHL history.
One of the best goal scorers of the last 20 years. But is this the most impressive 20-goal season in history?
It would be. 4th liner or healthy scratch the whole season. And I mean,
Which is so funny because on July 1st, we were like, oh, Jeff Skinner's going to hit 40 playing with McDavid and Leon easy. But if he ends up with 20, it's a fucking miracle.
Famously, actually, my number, I don't know exactly what my number was, but I do remember I went on with Oilers Nation after that signing, and they were like, big Jeff Skinner guy, what's he hitting? And I was like, 22, 23. I was like, he's not going to play on the power play, but... whatever, he's going to be awesome. And 22, 23 is amazing. Maybe I said 25 or 26 something, but I said definitely not 30.
I would have banked on 30 easy.
I mean, it seemed like it would just be such an easy plug and play option,
yes.
But I just didn't know. We thought he would play with Draisaitl, but
they thought he would play with Draisaitl.
Yeah, Dylan Holloway, by the way, point-a-game player under Jim Montgomery. 48 points in his last 48 games, something like that. Whoopsie. But if he gets 20, that is just amazing. And during the game on Saturday against the Kraken, I sent out a tweet that said, I don't know. I think, Sean, do you have it? I sent it to you.
It's the The one that was like, I don't know who's going to do it, but somebody's getting a Jeff Skinner jersey in Edmonton.
Yes, I don't know who, but someone is getting a Jeff Skinner jersey in Edmonton. And the last couple of days, I've had people replying to it or sending me tweets being like, I will get a Jeff Skinner jersey. I'm going to get that Jeff Skinner jersey. I was referring to like you or Sean or me. However, now that people have said they'll get a Jeff Skinner jersey, I was discussing this with Sean before the show. Do we organize a flash
Jeff Con?
Like a flash like Jeff Con at the Oilers store where a bunch of people show up and buy Jeff Skinner jerseys?
That sounds awesome.
Or Sean also suggested like on that day, people can just come throughout the day and buy Jeff Skinner jerseys. So whoever's working there is like, what's going on?
Well, here's the question that it begs in my mind. Do we treat this, is it like a Jeff Con Edmonton exclusive, like Oilers exclusive, or is it like the traveling Yoggers where I can bring my Jeff Skinner Sabres jersey and just be a Jeff Skinner fan, a traveling Jeff Skinner fan?
Now, this is an interesting question.
I think Sabres Jeff Skinner plays. Especially if we're doing a Jeff Con thing, I think it definitely plays.
I think that Sabres Jeff Skinner jersey to the Oilers store is a no-brainer. I think you going in wearing that, being like,
I just got to upgrade.
Where are the Jeff Skinner? Like, excuse me, do you have Jeff Skinner jerseys as you're standing in front of the jerseys?
That would be good.
Do you have Jeff Skinner jerseys here?
Okay,
Something
yeah.
like that.
You
Okay.
just you know why I'm here.
I mean, I do not know which player jersey I'm going to get. The possibilities are just endless, but at least one of us getting a Jeff Skinner jersey plus 10 to 15 whatnots in Edmonton showing up to get Jeff Skinner jerseys would be terrific.
I mean,
Thursday will be there, by the way.
You've been saying it all year long. Like you're guaranteeing that Jeff Skinner delivers in the playoffs in like a big moment for the Oilers, and it'll finally make this whole thing worth it. For us to like really bury ourselves in that camp, we get to take credit for it when it happens if we organize the Jeff Skinner movement.
This is so true.
Yes.
And I'm a little weird about compliments, but God, I fucking love credit. I would love if people are like, what chaos made this happen?
Yes.
If Jeff Skinner, who has scored 100 million goals in his career, scores a goal and people are like, that was all what chaos, baby.
Yeah, I think we gotta do that. We gotta really find ourselves in the Jeff Skinner camp.
I'm trying to not peek at the team store's website too much, but like if they got Jeff Skinner hats or something, just get a few in a bag ready to toss on the ice when he gets a hattie. Another tweet I sent out was like,
man, I think I'm gonna get a white Skinner jersey.
A white Jeff.
Yeah.
That brings it full circle. That's what we thought for the Fanatics.
Because I have my Perry. I'm gonna bring my Perry. It's a blue Perry. If I can get a white Jeff, and then if we go to the Battle Alberta on Saturday with 2 white Skinners, one of each variety, would be incredible.
Oh man.
Is it bad behavior though to wear the white?
That's what I was thinking. I think I'm gonna do a blue. But I don't know. Do I bring Draisaitl if he's not playing?
Why would it be bad behavior to wear white?
Yeah, you're wearing a team's jersey.
I know, but they're at home.
Yeah, who gives? I don't think that matters.
Okay. Just
You
I
can
don't know
wear-
how they
I
do
think
it in Alberta.
I think if it's fair. I think if it's the team's jersey, you can wear whatever jersey you want.
Well, we are going to just go absolutely bonkers in there, and I cannot wait. And we hope that you can join us Thursday, March 27th at Greta Downtown. Watch the game with us and have a chance to grab a couple of tickets to BOA. Unbelievable. We're going to do t-shirt tosses. There's going to be Nation gear. Our boys at Dishin have cooked up a little something special for us, and I believe we will have it in time for, I think, a one-of-one incredible What Chaos item that you are going to want. There's going to be game card giveaways, arcade game battles. $15 gets you in and automatically enters you for a chance to win a pair of tickets to BOA Saturday. We'll also be at that game, and we will be at Greta before for a pregame. So we hope to see you there. We absolutely cannot wait. Are the Blues going to win the Stanley Cup?
Yes.
I hope not.
They've won 6 in a row, and they are now on pace to hold on to the final wild card spot in the West, bumping Calgary and Vancouver out. Calgary and Vancouver, of course, still in the mix. It's close. The Flames have 3 games in hand and are 4 points back. That, of course, makes Saturday's game that we will attend a very, very big one. But the freaking Blues, and Sean was saying it, they're following their pattern.
It's the blueprint. Literally.
It's the Blues print.
And,
The Blues
yeah,
print.
and it's the Bruins print. Fire a coach, and then he goes and immediately wins the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like what they did. And I was like, I don't think that he's going to win a Stanley Cup unless somebody hires.
Joe Sacco.
No, I was like Drew Bannister.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, Jim Montgomery is going to win a Stanley Cup with the Blues. I hate it so much.
You know what I like?
What?
Popping on my Shady Rays. It makes me
yeah.
look so good. It makes me look so handsome. People saying, oh, Handsome Dave is on the case. That's right. Shady Rays are absolutely the quality shades built to last that you want on your face. Our friends got you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. And you know they've got all those colors to choose from, probably a style in your favorite team's colors. You know that I also love that the worry-free 30-day return, including the lost or broken replacement policy.
Mhm.
That is so good because if you lose your shades, you'll be without them maybe a week, up to a week.
Where are my glasses?
Chris, no, I can't find my glasses. Shady Rays got you. Maybe even, Pete, in your team's colors. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
And if you're taking care of your eyes, you may as well take care of the cells in your body. And that's where Timeline comes in, because Timeline sells health and longevity supplements that features their proprietary MitoPure ingredient. MitoPure, what does it do, you ask? Well, it works with the cells in your body to help reverse age-related decline. So if you're feeling the downslide of your body, and you're saying, I don't have the energy, I can't find my glasses or my endurance or my strength. Well, MitoPure will help you find everything except your glasses. Shady Rays has that covered. MitoPure and Timeline, 15 plus years of research, 30 plus patents for their products. So if you want to take care of the cells in your body because they're the building blocks of your life, hit up Timeline, find some MitoPure, and find more energy, feel stronger during your workouts, preserve your health, preserve your mobility, and reverse the effects of age-related decline. Right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order of MitoPure. So go to timeline.com/chaos to get started. That's timeline.com/chaos for 10% off your order of MitoPure.
Let's bring in our friend. Nope, let's not bring in our friend. No new friends.
No friends.
What?
He was here and then he hung up, so I don't know where he is now.
He heard us talking about MitoPure, and he was like, I got to go get some MitoPure because that guy famously takes care of his body.
He does.
John Buccigross is ripped.
Yes, he is. He's absolutely goosed. Yeah, I would say that he qualifies as ripped.
Yes,
We had the ripped versus jacked conversation with our dear friend Hunter.
that's true.
And Hunter...
There was a third one in there, wasn't there? Or shredded.
Oh, no.
The devil, right?
Hunter is shredded, right? That's what we said. We said Hunter was shredded.
Yeah.
And...
Ripped, jacked, or shredded.
Wasn't it the devil that was shirtless?
No, it was Hunter too.
But yeah, but didn't you say there was another one?
Yeah, I
thought it
think the Devil's jacked.
was- Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's bring in our lovely friend from ESPN. His name is John Buccigross. You know him. You love him. So do we. How are you, my friend?
Hello, boys.
Good
I've
to
been
see
trying
you
to
again.
connect for the past 5 minutes. I'm not late.
Oh, no, you are wonderful. And I see you wearing the college hockey shirt, and I've been wearing that hat for the last couple of weeks because the college hockey is getting good. We'll talk about NCAA stuff with you in a few minutes. But first, what do you think of those horrible, nasty people? They're not good people, those officials breaking up the goalie fight last night.
Yeah, that's rule number one. It can't happen. We love those goalie goals, goalie fights. It's a close one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Who wins that battle?
When you say it can't happen, do you mean the fight or the referees breaking up the fight?
Yeah, the referee's breaking up the fight. My favorite is when you watch a Buffalo Sabre game and Rob Ray's like, "Let him go, let him go." He should have a T-shirt. Let him go.
I mean, there's no reason not to. If we're looking for entertainment here, like I got a push notification from your dear ESPN last night that said the goalies almost fought. If we're doing push notifications for things that almost happened, just let them happen. Grow the game.
really, it's the entertainment business. That you can't get hurt dressed like that with that much padding. There's no worries there. It's great memories that we roll the video, going back the Patrick Waugh, Chris Osgood fight, and Mike Vernon and Byron Dafoe, and there's so many. And so, yeah, I agree. That's commandment number one when you're. But again, if they're getting reprimanded and their job's on the line, I get why they do it. They must tell them you must do that or you will be fired. So, maybe that's come up a few times.
We've got a mutual friend in Jeremy Swayman, and you're close with him, and you're also very close to the Bruins. Always like you're reporting on them. Did you see the Nikita Zadorov thing post game where he was kind of questioning why he was asked by Fluto Shinzawa how he felt about Swayman standing up for Husnudinov, and Zadorov said, "Oh, is that what he was doing?" No comment. And that's weird to us, and that speaks to maybe some sort of unrest. And Zadorov is for sure Zadorov, but what do you make of the Bruins situation right now, just internally?
Yeah, there's obviously a vacuum there of leadership and roles, and where do I fit in the hierarchy? Maybe I'm sure there's situations in every sport at every level, going back to high school. Someone wants to be a leader, but the other guys are like, cringe, he's not a leader, or she's not a leader. And so maybe some people feel like, Swayman's trying to make this, trying to become one of that upper tier leader now, now that Marchand's gone and we've kind of, what is this? And he wants to be in that first tier with McAvoy and Pastrnak. And maybe Zadorov sees him as a second tier guy or a third tier guy. But you're right. Zadorov goes back. Remember the comments with Nathan MacKinnon back a few years ago in the offseason that, that MacKinnon had to deal with, and how, angry and bossy, and looked at people what they ate for lunch and put that Pop-Tart down or I'll kick your ass kind of a thing. So, and, I think Zadorov does cause some eye rolls and shoulder shrugs himself, but there could be something real there where players are, trying to get their leadership terrain for whatever reason.
I said at the beginning of the show here that I genuinely believe the Bruins are like a bottom 3 team in the league right now. How far away do you think they are at being relevant again? Like, is this a rebuild picture or is it a retool picture for you?
Yeah, I kind of look at them like the Washington Capitals. When you have Swayman and McAvoy and Pastrnak as your kind of core, that's really good. So from there, again, the Capitals got lucky with Oshie and Kuznetsov and Backstrom, right? Their salaries just kind of went away. And then it could kind of, they could do a lot. They could be aggressive. They could make the Dubois trade. They could give him a shot, see how that goes. But the Chychrun trade was obviously anybody could have made that trade. Someone else could have gotten him. They already have Carlson, which I think is borderline Hall of Fame guy, and Matt Roy is a great sign. Everyone who has late night hockey package watches Kings games the last few years, saying that guy's good. And then McMichael pops, Protas pops. Wilson comes back as one of the most valuable players in the league with the way he plays bully hockey. Ovechkin has this kind of revitalization as it goes towards the record. Mangiapane's a smart sign. They just kind of hit home runs. If that's the Bruins, that's kind of their model. We got to maybe make a trade for a guy under contract. So that cap space isn't always about free agents. It's about trading for guys under contract who, for whatever reason, isn't working there. And obviously Dubois was a perfect number 2 guy. Strome was another guy who was kind of floating around, and they grabbed him. And so again, some luck there and some smarts at the same time. And now that's what the Bruins have to do. And when you have Pastrnak, McAvoy, and Swayman, that's a pretty good start. And then from there, you build around them through trades, through free agents, just like the Capitals did. And that's what you hope to do.
Okay, this ties into something that Pete's kind of brought up a couple of times throughout the season and really amuses me and interests me. Is Evan Bouchard that guy for the Bruins?
Well,
because I know you're not a Bouchard guy.
I wouldn't say I'm not a Bouchard guy. I think, he's a specialist for sure. He's a power play specialist, which has import. It's helped them in the postseason and the regular season. So he would run the point power play, which they need. They need a point power play guy. And he would do that. He's a right-handed shot. So now you can get shutdown lefty, another shutdown lefty. So McAvoy can roam a bit, and play a little bit of offense and drive. So I don't hate that. Because I think that he's like Natchez to Carolina. I don't think Edmonton loves Bouchard, and they don't want to commit to him. And they'd rather go another 2-year contract or a 1-year RFA, whatever it is. So you have a chance to get him. The problem is, and going back to the Capitals, Bruins don't have a Protas or a McMichael ready to blossom. So there's 2 guys there. Okay, we got to find those guys. And again, that could come from a trade on guys on their roster now, if they have any value at all, or a first-round pick if they want to take it. Remember, the Capitals traded a first-round pick for Sandin, right? To Sandin, right? I'm drawing a blank. I'm trying to memorize the Bentley roster right now. Sorry, my brain's kind of mushy.
Shout out Waltham.
They gave up a late. That's right. They gave up a late first round for him. I was like, I remember at that time, that's a pretty cool trade. This guy is like a 21, 22-year-old guy. He's like a pretty good player. And why not get some pretty good players that you can play right away? And so I think I just kind of like what the Capitals did. So that's kind of what the Bruins, I think, have to do. But yeah, Bouchard is an interesting. I can't quite see the trade there. I'd have to kind of what do the Bruins have left? But you never know.
It's a good question.
But that kind of guy, that's a good comp.
It does tie back to the Bruins because I believe that pick they flipped for Sandin was the Bruins pick for Dmitry Orlov. I could be wrong. On the Capitals, since you mentioned them, we discuss whenever teams take the leap and are a lot better than expected. Pete's usually really caught on this, is that they usually got to get punched in the mouth first, and then maybe it's the next year, something like that. Because the Capitals have Ovechkin and Tom Wilson and guys who have kind of been there before. So does that not apply to this group? Could this be very for real in the postseason?
Yeah, I like that. That's I agree. Carlson too. Like I said, another Stanley Cup champion who's he's been there a long time. He's been punched in the mouth before by the Penguins. He's been punched enough. So yeah, those guys have been punched enough. So they're fine. And the other guys were punched career-wise, right? Strome and their goalie was cut by St. Louis, and their top 2 centers have been on 3 different teams at age 25. And so that whole roster has been through a lot. So I do think I don't think they need to be punched in the mouth. It's just, will that goaltending hold up throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs? But they are 5-on-5 beasts, and they're really good. That physical play, just think of that. Just look at Detroit and Buffalo. When you think everything that they aren't, it's the Capitals and Tom Wilson. Wilson, he's like MVP territory this year to me. This is that culture of toughness that these teams don't have, that hurts them, like Detroit and Buffalo. Man, you got no chance without that. And he's brought that back this year in a big way. That's why that's the value that he brings. And then when he scores 30, my goodness, like I said, he's an absolute elite player, especially come playoff time.
Well, I wasn't going to ask this, but you said the words MVP. So a big debate that we've been having basically in the entirety of the entire year on the show, McKinnon or Draisaitl. If you had to vote today, who would you give the heart to, McKinnon or Draisaitl? Or would you give it to Hellebuck, perhaps?
Man, it's so hard. I wouldn't give it to Hellebuck. That's right off the bat. I would not. I don't know if he'd be in my top 5, to tell you the truth. But we'll see. I'm not a big goalie guy for Hart. Occasionally, Hasek was the extreme outlier for Buffalo back in the day. That was an obvious Hart kind of a goalie performance. But man, I watched them. I watched them every night, both of them every night. McKinnon is just so, visually electric, like an absolute, stadium concert nuts pyrotechnic type of thing, and that certainly can get your eyes going towards him. They both are lucky to play with Makar and McDavid that will push their stats up a bit. So man, it's so tough. I don't know. I've had a vote the last 2-3 years for the major awards, which came out of nowhere, very unexpected. And I love doing it, and even if it ended, I'd be cool because I got 3 of them. And so I'm not. To answer your question, as someone who's voted the last 3 years, I'm not sure yet. I'm leaning McKinnon because I think if there was a draft for centers in the league, or even just players, just call it forwards, a non-defenseman goalie draft, everyone throws in the pot. I think McKinnon would have more votes than Draisaitl going first overall, and some people would take him over McDavid. I really do think some people would take Nathan McKinnon. Not many. I think most people would take McDavid, but I think the next highest would be McKinnon. That doesn't answer your question on who I would vote for MVP, but it gives you an idea what I'm talking about, how people look at him, and if he wins the scoring title, and and they keep vaulting up, and they finish the season, 16-2-2. suddenly, is that him, or is that because they made those great trades for Nelson and Coyle, and they've got so deep now, and so where Draisaitl really has been carrying this team on his back the whole year because McDavid's had an off year and Hyman hasn't quite scored like he used to, and so yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Tell you the truth, I don't know. It's hard.
We see all of the updates and like the heart tracker where people talk to voters, and everybody basically. I'm not blowing smoke. They do not put it as eloquently as you. They just say like, wow, with how the season started for Colorado, that they are where they are. I don't know how you don't give it to Nathan MacKinnon. And that makes me pull my hair out because I'm like, you don't give it to Nathan MacKinnon because Leon Draisaitl's been better. At the time of his injury, Draisaitl was first in goals, second in assists. MacKinnon was first in assists and 25th in goals or whatever. However, I respect saying just like I think he's a better player. I think the Draisaitl's the better player this season. My biggest pushback on MacKinnon right now, because I'm really just becoming an Avalanche head, is that he's not the MVP of his own team and that it's Chris McFarland. Like I really think that those moves, that the night of the Netjas trade and the Rantanen trade,
Chris McFarland can't be the MVP because the P.
Well, what's the P word that you're always saying that we say like, got to stop saying on the show? You're calling Sean it?
Pussy.
Yes. So don't be a pussy. Vote for Chris McFarland. Yeah, my contention is that what MacKinnon gets credit for is really more of a roster construction thing. They're like, wow, how are they where they are with how things started? Their goaltending was a mess. Like, I don't think MacKinnon made that trade.
Yeah, but MacKinnon did keep them above water in the first like 2 months of the season.
You could argue that Draisaitl kept them above water while Zach Hyman wasn't scoring for the first 5 years of the season. But I'm honestly kind of.
And goals are more important. Goals are more important than assists. It's assists are easier than goals. He's played a better defensive game. He really has given that team kind of carried them in almost like a presence way, right? As McDavid has struggled and fought a little bit and battled it and not scoring goals really the last couple of years. Like this isn't a little short thing for Connor. It's going back to the postseason since he won his Richard Trophy and that amazing postseason. It's slowed down a bit offensively, goal scoring wise. And I always harp on this with these guys. They got to score goals in the playoffs. You need your best players to score goals. And Leon is doing that. So yeah, so like I said, so in the end, I'll look at it real carefully and I will think about that. But yeah, in the meantime, people look at him like, well, that's our best player. And we're looking in where I think Colorado, you have Makar, who some people are like, that's our best player right there. And so that might be split. So that might be enough, like you said, to gotta go towards Leon. But it's great. It's a great vote. It's fun. And I will be focused on it to try to do the right thing.
The real upsetting one this week is that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can't win Hart because he plays on the same team as Jeff Skinner. Everyone's like, oh, come on. Let's talk NCAA. You want to do NCAA for a second? All right. We got the tournament coming up, and what interests us the most is like what happens to BC. And I know that BC is still awesome and they could make a big run here, but if they beat Bentley and prove and you memorize all the names correctly and everything's great and you call it an amazing game, they got Providence or Denver next. So are they walking into a buzzsaw? And should we be concerned given their shortcomings in the Beanpot and in, of course, the Hockey East tournament?
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly, you can be concerned. A lot of those guys have 1 foot out the door. They're about to cash a bonus check, for about $800,000 to put into their ATM on their ATM cards. That's pretty cool. I know when I was 19, I couldn't have been able to handle that. So, and think about it in the proper context. So that's going to be difficult. Yeah, but yeah, if they take care of Bentley, anything's possible. But they should. Then it looks a rematch of the national title game would be great for me and Colby Cohen up in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah, are you looking at BC as the favorite here, or has it kind of shifted a little bit?
I think they're still the favorite. Although I kind of mentioned on the selection show that, if you have to bet a paycheck, you either get your paycheck or you don't get your paycheck. So you're not going to actually bet. You're not profiting NCAA. But you either lose your paycheck or you keep it. Michigan State seems to me to be like the safest pick. Like they are what they are. You're going to get what they are, and you don't have to worry about these swings at BC who can suddenly lose it home to Northeastern, but then can go and beat somebody 7-1. So BC seems a little more mercurial to me where Michigan State is more like, 3 yards, cloud of dust. We know what we're getting. Alabama football, we're going to be in it. Where BC sometimes feel a little more like a gadget football team where, geez, is Leonard going to get 3 breakaways in this game? And he's not going to hit the crossbar? And, things like that. So I hope they bring it all together. I think it's good for the sport. I want stars at the Frozen Four, and Ryan Leonard is the star of college hockey. He should get the Hobie Baker. Hobie likes goals, and he has the most goals. And he came back, which I know college hockey likes that. He's going to play playoff games for the Capitals. So I'd like to see him get there. But the rematch, but Z William is in the same category. He's going to play playoff games for the Wild, the defenseman for Denver, who's the first-round pick that slipped in the draft that we were doing in Vegas, and I couldn't believe as he was slipping. Like, what are these GMs thinking? Like the Flyers, you had him. It's like when the Red Wings passed on Quinn Hughes. There's going to be GMs look at this and say, why did we pass on that guy? So, is there like a sleeper team in the mix that you're saying don't rule them out? They could be like a Cinderella here. But Maine's good. They deserve to be a 1 seed, so they wouldn't really be necessarily. But they are when you look at the roster. Hey, there's no first-round picks here. There's no future NHL players. Isaac Howard on Michigan State, Trey Augustine on Michigan State, obviously Leonard, Perreault, and all the defensemen on BC, and Fowler, second-round pick of the Canadians. So, Maine doesn't quite have that. Western Michigan, again, same thing. They're kind of like that older team. They've never won one. Shout out Keith Jones, president of the Flyers. He went to Western Michigan. He's been watching these games intently. But other than that, I think I looked at yesterday. I thought like maybe 9 teams could win. Pete, to answer your question, I'd say Ohio State. There's something about Ohio State that I like in terms of their speed and their goalie. And some older guys as well. So the Buckeyes, who obviously have had a good run, the women lost a heartbreaking game yesterday. Oh, my God. And then so we'll see if maybe the Buckeyes, the men, can get their first hockey national championship. They haven't won one yet. The women have. Obviously, last year they won. But the men haven't won one. So we'll kind of throw Ohio State in that sleeper category.
Do you think this is David Carl's last run with Denver?
I don't know, but I don't. Because if I'm him, I am going to snuggle up to an owner like a football coach does and say, I'm not having some GM hire me so he can fire me in 11 months, 6 months, 18 months because his contract's coming up and he gets one coach's fire per contract. And I would try to find an owner and say, hey, this is a 8-year, 10-year relationship here. Kind of like the NFL, right? The NFL GMs don't fire NFL head coaches. Owners fire NFL head coaches. They don't give them that much power. They shouldn't. So I think it's going to be tough for him to find the organization that really commits to him long term, that the owners are part of the procedure, whether it's Chicago or Buffalo. Like, hey, here it is. We're starting from scratch, and we're going to do this the right way. You're our guy. And build it like you kind of took Denver from Jim Montgomery and kind of reshaped it in your own image. Now create this incredible resume for yourself, back-to-back World Junior Gold, a couple national championships. So if he can find that, which is rare in hockey, as you know, the managers, as they like to call themselves, they don't even use the word general managers. The managers of NHL teams have all this power.
What Pete meant was, how will Evan Bouchard fit in David Carl's system in Boston?
In Boston.
Yes.
In
Everybody Bruin. Good, bad, whatever. Be the next Washington Capitals. Bucci, you're the best. Thanks so much for joining us, man. We love you.
Thank you, boys. I watch every episode.
Oh, he's the best.
What a legend.
Thanks, buddy. Not an easy time of year for that guy.
No, it's
got to do like 2 sports.
Sneaky hardest working man in the biz.
And working out, as you have noted. The guy is in shape, is what I'm trying to say. The Devils are so bad that they're on pissy watch.
Oh, yeah.
Not amazing. They lost the first 2 games of their current homestand. They got one against Vancouver coming up this week, but they lost the second in a row to the Senators 3-2. After the game, Jonathan Kovacevic asked, like, hey, what does the team need to do? He gives a pretty innocent stock answer, like the playoffs begin now for us type of thing. And if you haven't heard, Sheldon Keefe just is a fucking asshole about it. Here, edited by the nice folks at Hockey Night in Canada, is all of that.
We're in a fight, and hopefully that, gets us in that playoff mentality, 10, 11 games out, and we carry that into playoffs. So, obviously the results are tough, but we're in a fight here, and we're not going to back down.
Kovacevic just mentioned to us that he thinks the team kind of needs to have that playoff mentality going down the stretch here. Is that something
Kovacevic just needs to play better. That would help.
He ended the press conference on that.
Really? Oh my gosh. It's so unnecessary. Like, I'm not the biggest, like, I'm not going to read too much into it. I'm not going to say like, blah, 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 what a baby, what a piss baby. But like, what's going on there? As an NHL head coach, you should probably not throw your guys under the bus for innocent reasons like that. Like, if he had said something that really rubbed him the wrong way, but saying like you need to play with a playoff mentality and then being like, shut the fuck up, play better in front of the media, so weird.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he misunderstood the way, because the way the reporter said was like, hey, he said that the team needs to have a playoff mentality. Maybe in Keefe's mind, he's seeing the player come out and be like, this isn't good enough. Guys need to be playing with the playoff mentality, and I don't get why we're not doing that. When in reality, he's like, hey, this time of season, the mindset starts to shift to a playoff mentality. So maybe it was a bad game of telephone, but unless the reporter said, yo, JK in there talking shit.
Yeah, right.
You don't have that sort of response. So I thought that was weird. And
do it behind closed doors.
We are Sheldon Keefe defenders because Sheldon Keefe seems like pretty mild-mannered. I don't get where that's coming from. Not anymore. In better news, Utah Hockey Club busted out Baby Bear. We love Bear. You see Bear there? There's Baby Bear.
So my favorite part of this is that the bear head is basically the same size. The body is just tinier.
It's fantastic. And if that isn't our couple's costume next year for Halloween, I will be furious.
How much do you think one of those goes for?
I don't know, but if we start planning / building now, we can definitely do that.
I might wear that like every day. That thing is so cute.
Like the Step Brothers with the Chewbacca masks?
Yes. Mine better be movie quality.
Yes. Okay. Let's start working on that. I think that us doing that would be very, very good and tasteful. Who knows what they better keep the same mascot. Just do oops all bears at Utah games.
I mean, you've doubled down. You've committed to 2 bears. I think you gotta, if anything, you introduce a new bear in the mix next year.
Yes.
3 bears.
It's a bear and a mammoth.
Ooh.
That's an animal party.
Thrupple's costume.
This was a big weekend for mascots with children because not only did we have that, we had Sharky getting absolutely dominated by Macklin Celebrini. I believe it was Celebrini.
Yeah,
in a game of sewer ball. And yep, there it is. Like, oh my God. I hope that this was staged, but like
their reactions
don't real violence.
The players' reactions to this don't seem like it was staged to me. Like,
I agree.
They find it genuinely hilarious.
Can we get a behavior grade? Like, are you allowed to just assault the mascot like that?
I mean, I can't help but zoom out and just look at an overall Sharks behavior grade where I just really have never seen anything like it. Where a team, Dan Powers brought this up with us, where a team is so bad and the vibes are so good. They are playfully attempting murder with each other. While, I mean, I guess they played the Bruins the other day and beat them. So maybe they're kind of feeling themselves, but they don't give a fuck about the game results. They're just feeling themselves at all times. Just kicking balls at each other's heads, having sleepovers.
Enjoy it while it lasts, because at some point you do have to approach the business with a business-like attitude. Not this year, though.
When do we hit them with expectations? Next year?
Growth next year, not expectations.
Okay, yeah. You get to fuck around for a few more years.
Take advantage of it for like the last 3-4 weeks of the season. Do all your weird shit then, because next year we're putting you on professionalism watch.
I got to shout out Marine Sergeant Bruce Gust, because that man in Music City played the national anthem before Thursday's Predators-Ducks game, and I would say it was electric, but it literally was not electric. It was acoustic. It was analog. It was no digital fancy things other than microphones. He was playing. They were small. I don't know if they were technically congos or bongos or congas, but check out this banger of an anthem.
How do you guys turn it into more of an open ice skating rush type of game?
I think the bongo anthem threw us off a little bit in the first, but once we recovered from that, we were back to our game, which was good.
You know, the interesting.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly
Okay, so this is the anthem that needs the Chicago Jim Cornelison treatment. Imagine if that was happening while
Crowd
the
going
whole
nuts.
arena is standing up going, yo! All right! Just so loud. I mean, I'm going to make an edit of that.
Hell yes. do that.
That is a great anthem. And yeah, it threw Trevor Zegras off and they thought it was funny or whatever, but you laugh all you want. Shit was dope.
Well,
nobody laughed. That's the problem. And here's the thing. They really screwed up because they did that on Thursday playing against the Ducks. You know who their next game was? The Nashville Predators? Their next game was against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who famously cannot handle weird anthems. We had Willie Nylander cracking up, disrespecting the troops when there was an anthem that went off the beaten path. If you screw with Trevor Zegras that bad, think about what you would have been able to do with Willie Nylander and the Toronto Maple Leafs the very next game.
Especially when it's being performed by a troop.
That's right.
Well, what I was going to point out is they're kind of jacking Ben Affleck's whole flow.
I was thinking,
That's
right.
true.
So for the Ducks, I
For the
thought
Ducks
maybe that
specifically,
is
yeah.
why they had him do it there. Kind of get in their head.
I mean,
That would be crazy gamesmanship.
there's layers to how funny this is. Like, I did not know that it was a military member. I did not know it was a troop hammering those congas or bongos or whatever they were. It also is very funny that it happened in Nashville, like the music capital of the world.
You're getting bongos.
They just have this guy.
I just like
anthem.
I'm pro like the booing the anthem, taking a knee and all that stuff. But I get you can't really like make fun of the national anthem. It'd be pretty awesome if the Ducks were like performing our national anthem today. Ben Affleck, and he just fucked around on the bongos for a little bit.
Next time the Predators play in Anaheim, they definitely have Ben Affleck do it.
It would rock.
And oh man, it would be amazing. The Hurricanes wore black helmets with white jerseys, Peter, over the weekend.
They did.
And this has a behavior
Gross.
check that I think will be very predictable. All three of us hate it.
Yuck.
Yeah.
So bad.
I'm very pro like colorful helmet, white jerseys, but it's got to be the same color as the pants.
That looks so bad.
So the Hurricane, like, this is so wild because when they introduced the helmet rule, some teams like were like, okay, we'll try it. We'll see if it works. And people had visceral reactions to even the Hurricanes wearing a red helmet. I've since grown accustomed to the red helmet, but for them to take it a step further and go with an alternate color helmet on the road is crazy. They are the NHL team that is absolutely insistent on acting like a college hockey team.
How long
and I
before
think there's only so far you can push it.
How long before they mix in like they're just going to throw one of the Whalers helmets on top of the red jerseys? Just be assholes.
Maybe this is just like a initial reaction to change, but I think that looks horrible. Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Stick with the red. I
Agreed.
like the red. I've grown accustomed to the red. Totally fine with the red helmets. The black is just like too crazy.
Yeah, it just is too off-putting.
I'm so surprised that they would do this. It just asking for trouble, asking to be mocked.
I don't mind them trying it. Never do it again.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, let's get to a slate grade because we've got an interesting one tonight. Yes, we do. Implications across the board. You have at 7:30 p.m. Eastern the Ducks taking on the Devils. Implications there, of course. That is also that's a Corey Schneider Bowl. Blue Jackets at
It's also
Island.
a Hughes Bowl, obviously.
Oh, it's a Hughes Bowl too. Blue Jackets at Islanders, 7:30 p.m. There is implications there in an Anthony Duclair Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Wilds take on the Stars at 8 p.m. Eastern in a Ryan Suter, we want our money back bowl. Red Wings at Utah Hockey Club, tucking us in 9 p.m. Eastern in a, Sean?
Ollie Mata revenge game.
Yes.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good, Sean.
It's
Very
also
good.
Wild Stars is like Battle for the North Stars.
True. Whatever. I like the give me back my money, right?
I mean, it's not as good as the Suter one, yeah.
Oops, all Ryan Suter contracts bowl. Fantastic. All right, yeah, bought out Ryan Suter Bowl?
Yes. Yeah, that works.
The Matt Dumba Bowl.
It's a Matt Dumba Bowl? Yes. Oops, all washed wild defenseman bowl.
Where are our real defenseman bowl?
Why are the Stars good? they keep taking defensemen who are like, wouldn't have done that.
Interesting structure.
Yes. Interesting structure. It's
Weird.
all happening within an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wild. What are
Not
you
bad
watching in
games,
this?
though.
I mean, Canucks and Devils, Canucks fighting to stay alive. Blue Jackets and Islanders, quote unquote, fighting to stay alive. Red Wings at Utah, I think, is my favorite one, though, because both of these teams absolutely need 2 points. We will be able to suck off a team based on this game, potentially.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. I also think that both those teams play a rather fun, exciting style. Like, that could be a great tuck-in tonight.
Ooh, all right, let's get tucked. We have a great show coming your way tomorrow, and we've got a big week because we will be in Edmonton. Make sure to stick with us and subscribe everywhere you can be subscribed. Pete.
Please like the video. It's a thumbs up button right below the video player. Thanks for watching the show today, and if you can support us wherever you can, whether it's YouTube or audio platforms, we would very much appreciate it. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.